Brent Mason, welcome to Australian Musician.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
It's a pretty weird year to be talking to you. How have you been handling this COVID year, and what's it done to your plans?
Well, it's just pretty much threw everything into spin. Um, my wife and I were in Hawaii in Maui right after Christmas. Tommy Emmanuel, the guitar player, had a guitar camp I was attending
Yeah.
in West Maui, and my wife got sick. I'm one of those I think we had it virus people, and she got sick, and we didn't hear about the virus. I got what the symptoms of I can't smell or taste for like 3 or 4 weeks. Didn't think much about it till I heard about all the symptoms. But I haven't been tested. But I'm just going to go on like you know, haven't had it, and just and be safe. But yeah, so when we got back from Maui, it just everything was gone. I had some clinics; they were kaput. It pretty much put a chokehold on the entertainment business in general.
Yeah.
Sessions were gone, of course. But I fared pretty well because some things I get sent to me,
Yeah.
remotely, remote sessions where you can overdub and just send the stuff back, WAV files and stuff. And of course, I gave Skype lessons, still do. So I was doing pretty well. I mean, under the circumstances, but and thank God, knock on wood, didn't get sick, But I feel now there's an uptick here. I feel like it's closing in on us
Yeah.
here. It's kind of scary. It's almost like worse than when we all were, sheltered in, shut in, or at home, staying at home.
Yeah.
But we're all out and about. I think it's like what they call phase two here.
Yeah.
But I'm still scared. I mean, I'm a mask wearer. Okay,
Okay.
I wear the mask and the social distancing and stuff. But
Yeah. But
we're starting to fade into some sessions now.
yeah.
So, but we're all wearing masks. It's pretty, it's frustrating to try to wear a mask for about 6 hours. But
Yeah.
you got to do it.
We're here to talk about some fun stuff, though. You've got
Good.
a new storage collection signature Telecaster. Do you remember the first time you became aware of the Telecaster as an instrument? Who were the first Tele players that you noticed?
Oh, okay. The first Tele players I noticed. Uh, First of all, my parents, my father, my mother, and my grandparents, just the whole family are musicians. So we grew up with country music. My dad listened to Hank Williams Sr., Ernest Tubb, and Jim Reeves, a lot of the Opry stars. But he was a big fan also of Merle Haggard. And Merle had a guitar player, his name was Roy Nichols, had a Telecaster. And I loved his playing because I heard his playing all the time. Dad was playing records and stuff. I go, wow, great Tele player. Had a Tele, great guitar player just in general. And there was, it went on to other players like James Burton. James Burton played Tele. Um, Albert Lee. Jerry Reed at some point switched over to electric guitar. Those are the guys I listened to from the country field, and that's kind of where I started really. Branched off from there, but that was the Tele players that I listened to.
So, growing up and getting into the guitar, were there other signature guitars that you admired?
I mean, not one just in particular. I watched Chet Atkins play, and he had that country gentleman with a Bixby on it. I was always fascinated with that. I'm holding. There's none on here. I got a guitar in my arms, but I was grabbing that Bixby, and doing the old, Chet had that one I thought was really cool because that was his signature one. Guys like Dwayne Eddy, they all had Gretches and stuff, and their signature models. Me per se, I never really thought about a signature model. I was just glad to get a mainstream guitar, it was like, I think the first guitar I got was a Hagstrom Swede or something like that. My dad got for my birthday. I wasn't really familiar with them. It seems like Bob Seger was the only one that played one of those. I'm sure there was more, but I did those guitars that I just spoke of caught my eye a lot. You know, the Chet Atkins model, and Jerry Reed had the gut string guitar, and of course the Tele I saw that all the time. So, you know, it wasn't really it was just a brand, I think, that was more of what I was interested in.
When you acquired this original 68 Tele, you wanted to replace a Les Paul and a 335 that you used as a trade-in. You wanted something versatile.
Well, I never, yeah, let me sort of straighten that story up a little bit. It got a little bit just out of character with what I think I can't remember when I first was talking about that. It's not like I had a bunch of guitars to trade. What I was saying was that I couldn't afford to have more than one guitar at that time, you know? And I really wanted a Tele. And I traded something, I think it was a 335 or something I traded in. But I wanted the guitar, after I got it, it was just a standard Tele. Had the neck pickup and the bridge pickup. But I wanted to make it a versatile guitar. I'd seen, like guys like Steve Morse, had all these pickups in their guitars. I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought that maybe I could make a Strat sound of it if I placed a middle pickup into the Tele, like a Stratocaster. And to get a good humbucker sound for the neck position, I settled on a baby humbucking, or a Gibson baby humbucking. But Joe Glazer helped me put this whole idea together. Joe was one of the innovators of this guitar, of the original. So I basically had a standardized Tele that we customized, through the help of Joe Glazer, of course. Made it an all-around guitar, see? So I could do all these kinds of music and not have to grab, 3 or 4 different other kinds of guitars to get that effect.
So what sort of range of tones can you get on this signature Tele?
Yeah, it's got a good. There's a fader. You'd think a studio player I'd know about faders, right? So it's just a 3-way pickup, really. It's got a good fat, then of course the back pickup. It's got the twangy, thing going. This is all I do when I'm playing. I'm always like looking down and turning things. I haven't had a chance to get it together, right? But so it has this middle pickup, a volume that you just roll in to add in the middle pickup into the 3-way switch setup, So. So you get the out of phase thing, right? And then you could just pull this switch up and it's back to a regular setup, which is just a back pickup. It takes the middle pickup out of the picture. And then you pop it in, there's a Strat. But really what I use this for is really like a tone control, because it has a fader that you fade in with the volume in of that middle pickup. And instead of a full on, it's like a Strat thing, but I've been using it mainly like to scoop it out a little bit. It seems like if I turn it in just gradually, I find a sweet spot where it kind of scoops it out a little bit, takes that offensive high end out of that can be in a bridge pickup sometimes. So I found it more useful like that, rather than trying to total copy a Strat sound. Anyway.
Obviously, Fender wasn't going to use auto primer for the finish.
Oh, right.
How
No, not a car primer. Yeah, I don't. Well, see, look, this is is it? Can I show this? Will this
yeah.
is this work on this format? Yeah. See, this is the custom shop one, and they've made an identical replica of it. It just blows my mind how dead on this thing is. So it's got all the scathed up, some of this from the clubs, this inlaid smoke. When they took it apart to do the specs on it, I was totally embarrassed by it. I was going, oh, geez, and they go, oh no, this is cool. This is so cool. And I'm going, really, is it? Okay, all right, I'll take your word for it. It was embarrassing. It was like being unclothed in public or something. And they nailed it. It's good. It was a southern. What that guitar was ash, but it was a swamp ash. So Joe Glazer had told me that, this is a wood that's been floating around in a swamp at one point, and it got cured, dried out, and it naturally had perforation, which gave it an acoustic quality. It's pretty profound thinking on it, but it makes sense. Now, I don't know if this is ash, but I have to defer to the guys that built it. I don't know if this was actually floating in a swamp. I don't know. But it's ash. It's southern ash.
Did you ever consider repainting the original at any point?
No, I never did. I never did. I wasn't so wrapped up in the aesthetics of it. I was thinking maybe that's why this thing sounds so good. That it doesn't have a thick coat of lacquer or finish on it, right? Which if you probably put that on, it would make it more sluggish sounding, I would suppose. I think that's what we come up with a long time ago when we were discussing the characteristics of the guitar. So I never did. No, I mean, I just thought it was cool because it stood out on its own, and it was about the sonics of it that I liked, and I didn't want to hamper with that with the finish or anything like that because it was sounded perfect the way it was. I just kept it ugly and sounding good.
I imagine there was a bit of back and forth with the signature model. Were there a few prototypes?
Yeah. And again, I'll go back on the neck. I think when I came in first to check out the prototype, I said, this neck is a little larger than mine, and there was some confusion there. There was like, no, shouldn't be. And then I got to thinking, I think I told those guys to stop there. It was cool. I was just excited to have a signature model, but I wanted to get it right. Come to find out the neck, somehow I probably confused them or something. Somewhere along the way, the measurements of the neck got thrown off a little bit, and we figured that out. And then they brought it back, and I said, perfect. See, I had to take mine there and go, guys, look, see, feel those, grab them, Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. So we figured that out. The pickup situation, we figured out. You notice the pickups reversed here. They're usually the little screws are on the front side, I think that it kind of gave it a little brighter, crispier sound maybe, as for being a humbucker. So it was kind of like a cross. It's kind of sounded like a single coil, but yet it was a humbucker, right? These are some Seymour Duncan vintage stacks in here. All these. And this is a Seymour Duncan baby humbucking there.
I imagine the 68 Tele is quite a valuable instrument to you. Would you consider taking a signature model out on the road now?
Oh, I sure would. I mean, first of all, it sounds great. It's a new guitar. And you're going to go, this can't sound as good as my original, and it's got to season a bit. And, the more I have it, the more little minor adjustments I make. But here's the reason I would take it out is because, mine's my original one, and you can see this because it's pretty much identical to the original one. There isn't much wood left on it. Because there's no lacquer on it, there's no protection, right? So the wood it's pretty scathed up and the wood's kind of chipped off. I think if I take this out and beat it up some more, there won't be nothing left of it, right? So at least I'll have something that, represents that sound and looks like it and plays like it. so I could take this one out. And if this one gets sucked out of the airplane, and then, I can go, oh, guys, make me another one, you know. But but God forbid that would happen. But yeah, so I'll be, that's the thing. I can't really travel that original anymore. I just, on many levels, I would be apprehensive to leave it anywhere, or just turn my head away. It could get stolen or something. You hear about those horror stories all the time.
When were you first really happy with your guitar tone? When did you find the combination of guitar and amp that you're really happy with?
I'm neper happy. I am one day, and then the next day I'm not. See, that's kind of how it works for me. But I think a good marriage with this guitar is I played a lot of, like, I did a lot. Well, let's say the country records, Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, a bunch of those, George Strait, a bunch of those records. I used a deluxe '67 blackface deluxe reverb, Fender deluxe reverb. And it just seemed to be a perfect match with this guitar, on that kind of, on that Tele kind of stuff. Now, I mean, I would go into the studio with an amp rack full of different things, because I never know what kind of songs I'm going to play on that day. That's the Nashville thing. Sometimes I go in the studio, not knowing who the artist is, or I know their name, but not knowing who they are, or what the songs are about, or what style. So, the Cartage guys bring in amp head. I got like a Marshall or a Matchless or something. And then I got a couple Fender heads, like Oak Basemans and Bandmaster, Blackface Twin, 65 original Blackface Twin sounds great. But this deluxe, I found that, I like the deluxe. It has the original Blue Jensen speaker that came in it, kind of bit the dust a long time ago. So I replaced it with a vintage 30 Celestion, and it sounds great in there. It's a versatile amp. So, I'm gonna have to say the deluxe Fender 67 and this guitar. This is 67, by the way. It was actually birthed in 67. It went out to the stores in 68. It was November 3rd, 1967. I've always called it a 68 till they ripped it apart, and they went, "No, this is a 67." I go, "No, you've got to be kidding me, man." November 3rd, 67, the birth of that my Tele. So
You released a solo album, Hot White, in '97, and then you released an album with your brother, Randy, in 2006. Any plans for another solo project?
Well, I'm always threatening to do one. Everybody goes, "You keep talking about an album, but where is it?" They're not going to believe. It's like I'm Mr. Procrastinator, but I've been writing stuff slowly for it, trying to match that Hot Wired album. And, and of course, that's one positive out of this downtime with the pandemic going on. You can, you're shut in the house. You got more stuff to do. Everybody's finding out that they're, that they got families, that they can bond with and enjoy, simple things in life. Or you can write music too, and so you make use of that adversity in the times that we're in. But yeah, I'm writing stuff. I can't just throw a dart on the calendar though. Maybe next year, but there's going to be one coming. I just can't give you a date on it yet. When I slow down doing the sessions, which I am now, of course, but I was always like one of those racehorses with blinders on, just in the studio all the time. So when I would leave the studio, I go, I don't want to hear any music. I would just hang my head out the car window on the way home, trying to, like, get all the music out of my head. So when I come home, but I always love to listen to music to inspire me, though. I'm not saying I want to get away from music in general. I love the inspiration of stuff that's, beautiful music.
You've played with so many people. You must have toured Australia at some point.
Greg, I've never been to Australia.
Really?
Or not? No, in a way, kind of embarrassed to say. I've worked with a lot of Australian, musicians and artists and stuff. They came here, never been. And it's such a, I always hear about it. I thought, wow, I bet it's just sounds like an adventurous place to go, and such great people there. And I'd love to see the land and everything, but never been. Maybe I'll go. I'll get to go soon. It's a long flight.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to go soon now to this.
No, well, we're currently not open, so
COVID cloud gets away from us. Please, but yeah, believe it or not.
when you look back at your career and all the sessions that you've done, are there any that stand out that immediately come to mind?
Good question. That's always, what's ironic about it, I always have a different answer for that, because there's been so many. The thing that jumps out to me now is I mentioned his name, George Strait. When we went to Jimmy Buffett's studio in Key West, there was a little studio he had off of the harbor there. It was kind of an unassuming, looked like a shrimp shack or something. That was, people would walk by it and not realize it was a studio. And we made some great records in there. We had a lot of laughs and fun. It was a great atmosphere to make good music at Buffett's studio. It's still there in Key West. I have great memories of that place. And there's a lot of favorite sessions that I did. There's just bukus of stories that I have, I couldn't even get into them. Some I can't even tell, but,
Ever been booked for a session and thought, well, I'm not the right guy for this session?
Yes. Yeah, although I did my best and they were happy. See, that's the main thing. The end result was they were happy. At least they put on that they were. But I've been I was sweating blood, that old joke where, how you make a guitar player turn down, stick a chart in front of them, those kind of things. Because I'm not a great music reader, believe it or not. I have to just kind of study it a little bit. But when I was sent into a lot of sessions where there was like string section sitting around me, and here's the double scale guitar player dragging his guitar at the last minute at 5 minutes till 10. When the session starts at 10, they're looking at me, and then they put up this symphonic chart, and I'm going, oh, blood starts to sweat, sweating blood, and I get through it, but it was like, another one of those hang my head out the car window on the way home, and I got through that one. I fooled him again. There was different ways that I would approach that. They go, hey, let's go get some coffee, guys. This is a great song. What you guys? Yeah, we've been playing for a while. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll get on this song, right? And then they go in there, and I go, okay, that's a B flat. Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, triplet. Yeah. Let's get back together. And let's carve this thing out. Tricks.
So, what are you most proud of in your career?
Well, I'm proud of the body of work that I did. I just never realized, although I was a big fan of session players, because, I was a fan of session players just as much as I was the artist of the album. I would always look back on, these vinyl records where they had the album covers and stuff, and see all the credits, and ooh, David Hungate on bass, Henry Stilek, Larry London on drums, the country, Charlie McCoy. And I go, wow, maybe someday I can play with those guys. And, now I can say that I played with a lot of them. Some of them aren't around anymore, but I was thankful to get to work with some of them. Like proud to get to, like actually work with Ray Charles, or something like that. Like, wow, what a icon. And, just to have stories to tell about it, you know what I mean? But again, the studio players that I work with, I'll just say this: when I first came to Nashville, I got put into some of those guys that I idolized, and I was so scared to death. They'd heard about me, and I thought if I screw up now, they're gonna send me back. I'm gonna have to go back home with my tail between my legs, and I was so scared, but they were so nice. But then I felt like I didn't have to prove myself anymore, and the nerves kind of got a little better. But just to sit around those cats like that was, to me, I'm so proud of that. Of course, winning some awards, CMAs and Grammy and this and ACMs. 13 or 14 of those. I'm proud of that. So there's a lot of things I'm proud of. Music, career-wise.
Yeah. Well, Brent Mason, It's been a pleasure to talk to you. We look forward to seeing that signature Tele being played by people all over the world.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, it's been great to catch up.
It's been one. Yeah, great. Thank you. Maybe I'll come to Australia sometime. Well, looking forward to it if I get the chance.
Yeah, when we open up again.
Stay safe, healthy, and be well.
You too, man. Thank you. Bye-bye.